Oh, it came out good.
Hmm?
I just don't got all of it. Ready?
Hmm.
Then give them a couple minutes to log on. I have to put some papers on for this. Oh, I tell you what. When I get this together, ain't together yet. But you just wait. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give me a couple minutes. Just trying to get everything together. Got people in here. Make sure you greet the people.
Good
Because
afternoon.
then you can be
Good
rude.
afternoon.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure we're going to have our focus together. Okay. We ain't got no music for you today. Hey, welcome, 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 guys. I'm hoping you can hear us. Ron, speak to the people, baby. Let them know. You know.
What y'all want to know?
Oh, God. I can't.
Tanisha.
Now, you see how small
Good
that writing
afternoon.
is?
Yeah. Good afternoon, babe.
I'm looking like 20 minutes trying to see what that says. Says hello. Oh, like I usually. I've been waiting. Good, 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 good. Okay. You got your ringer off?
Yeah.
Okay. I better make sure my ringer is off.
It's all. This is my baby right here.
Okay. Make sure everybody can see us. Okay, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you guys tuning in. I appreciate that.
Hey, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila Dickerson. Hi, sweetie. I haven't seen you in a
Cathedral of Faith. Yeah.
seen you in a long time. Bless you, woman of God. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is not the folder I want. I'm tempted to make him sing a little something while we waiting, but I don't think he ain't trying to do. I think they in agreement with that. Leron, she said
Been a
hello.
while.
It has
Yes,
been a while.
a long while.
Let me see. Welcome, Periscope. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this. This is the moment some of you guys have been waiting for. I've been waiting for this moment myself. So, to formally invite you, welcome to Keeping It 100 with Michelle A. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to see if I can get him to sing a little after, Sheila. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As you know, what we do is we randomly ask a few questions concerning the body of Christ or concerning a person, an individual situation, and all of that. And we keep it 100. We try to be as transparent as we possibly can. I don't know what his response is going to be. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. And we know we're churchy, but we do want to realize that we have people who aren't churchy. So it may be some things that you may be thinking or experiencing. So we're just going to be just live and just raw. So let me go ahead and say it. If you're deep and you're spooky and you're just too spiritual, this might not be the show for you, because we're going to just kind of tell it like it is.
Well, then again, it may be the show for you.
It may be. So, okay, with that said, I jotted down a few questions, but I don't think that I'm going to get a chance to ask you what I wrote down. Simply, everybody knows that Leron and I were like knitted together, buddy buddy. There are some things that I do know, there's some things that I don't know, but I'm going to, with the leading of God, I'm going to ask a couple questions that hopefully will come into your living room and will hit you by force and make you think about some things. Everybody knows Leron Waples. He's very transparent. He's very raw. He tells it like it is. He exposes himself before he exposes anybody else. So I'm going to ask you a question. The first question is, are you a Christian?
I don't believe there's such thing as a Christian. It's not biblical.
Are you saved? Don't go getting deep with me. Are you saved?
Yes, I am saved.
You come up with all deep and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And you live where? Are you still in the Seaford area?
No, I'm not. Actually, I live in Wilmington, Delaware, by way of Christian Love Worship Cathedral with Bishop George Gibson. That's my pastor.
Amen. 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 Okay. I'm trying to see what is it I want to ask you. If you were to give me an individual who pushed you spiritually in your life, that was stability for you, who would you say? Or just to name a few people, who would you say?
I had a lot of men and women of God who were a part of the body of Christ that influenced me. First and foremost, my grandmother, Sarah Waples.
Yes.
She was the matriarch of our family. She was an intercessor, prayer warrior. Everything that people see in me, it's a reflection of her. Prayer, interceding, reading the Word. Basic roots in God comes from her, first and foremost. And then my spiritual mother, which is Pastor Apostle Brindell Smack. Stories can go on and on and on about how she's been so influential in my life. Reverend Jesse Abbott, Reverend Calvin Abbott, Apostle William Smack, to name some men of God. Pastor Keith B. Drayton, who was my spiritual father.
Yes.
From Salisbury,
Yes.
Maryland. It's very important that we as men have other men to look up to or to be fed by. That's very important, especially for men and boys. Especially people dealing with issues of the heart.
Stop trying to go there before I get you there. Like, let me get you. We're gonna build Joe up. He is. Listen, when I say he is ready.
Reverend Dr. Isaac Bronson to take a hymnal home. I am first a singer, anointed to do so.
A worshiper.
A worshiper. And, favorite training hours at 6 o'clock. I took the book home after service and memorized Love Lifted Me, which is 4 verses of 1 chorus. In that time span, came back and sung it by memory. So that's how come I knew that I was a singer, a worshiper, a psalmist at that time. And Sister Viola Bloxham, started giving me dollars. Sister Cassie Paul,
You was singing for money.
Yeah.
You was pimping the people.
I mean, unbeknownst to me at an early age, but I thank God for these people. Some have passed on and some are still here today. They were very influential in my life.
Okay, so as you got older, because like I said, I can go back to our times together, but I really don't want to do that because honestly, we was jacked up. In some of our ways, we were jacked up. We knew how to play the church games. We went to every musical. You name a musical, we went.
We were there.
We have seen, and just to be transparent, we have seen a lot of prophets who have been on point and lived the lifestyle, opposite lifestyle.
Yes.
What's your feelings concerning that, as far as preachers and prophets who are preaching one thing but yet living another thing?
I never wanted to be that person. And back to my grandmother, she said, Leron, don't play with God, don't straddle the fence, either you're in or you're out. And when I'm in, and when I'm out, I'm out. I just feel as though it's a wrong picture to show people, especially babes in Christ.
Okay, now, do you believe that there is a difference between a struggle, like I'm a preacher, I'm a prophet, God uses me, but I have this struggle, this inward struggle? Is there a difference between a struggle and just randomly just doing it, like I'm going to live in this sin?
Exactly. If I'm struggling, I need to struggle from the pew, not from the pulpit.
Oh, it's so true.
I mean, that's just me. If I'm struggling, I need to struggle from the pew.
Because you're putting your hand, you're transferring spirits.
And people's blood are going to be required at my hand if I am in that high of a level and speaking from the pulpit. And it used to be a time when the pulpit was sacred. You couldn't even, go up there if you weren't right.
But nowadays they're saying God can use anybody. He used a donkey, so why can't he use me? And they're saying there's a difference between the spirit and the flesh. I just have a problem with my flesh. But they're ignoring the fact that there's transference of spirits. I'm hitting something because you're pausing too long.
Because I have to be mindful of what I say, because I'm not just talking to Michelle, I'm talking to the world.
Right.
And the flesh is one thing, but the word says that we should beat our flesh daily. Beat it down, however you may beat your flesh down. There's different ways, whether it be fasting or praying or reading the word to bring that flesh under subjection. And then after you've done that, sure, go full throttle with whatever God has called you to do.
Okay. Now, not talking to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to me.
Right.
We talking. We having a conversation.
Right.
They just sitting in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, we have at one point in time in our lifespan, we've been that person, not meaning to. In the midst of trying to get ourselves together, God still used us.
Yes.
Now, as far as conviction is the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing it and you're living that lifestyle, I really believe that there is a difference between a struggle and a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, we always had that conviction where we always had to tell each other, hey, I'm doing this, I'm having a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to cover me in this struggle. Well, how do you feel concerning that?
A struggle and a conviction.
A conviction to make you change and not want to do it no more, and you'll keep feeling sorry and about what you're doing, and you'll do the best of your ability not to do that thing over and over again. That's totally different.
Okay. To me, it's one and the same. Conviction to me has something to do with my heart. And a struggle, like I'm struggling. I'm holding on to something and I don't want to let it go.
That's a struggle.
That's a struggle.
That's a struggle.
Yeah, I don't want to let it go. And I know about struggle. Oh too well. But conviction is something like, it's in my inner man. What may be a conviction for me may not be a conviction for Michelle or someone else. They may not feel no type of way about it. They may be able to go ahead and do, and I think that's very personal as far as that conviction is concerned.
Okay. As far as a struggle, do you have, because I know a lot of people look at you in different lights.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be people. You have judgmental people, then you have people who look past Leron, little Leron, big Leron, and they see the spirit man, the strong man. Okay. Do you have inward everyday struggles with your own personal self? And if you do, what would be some of those struggles that you deal with on an everyday basis that people don't see?
Yes. Honestly speaking, struggle for me would be, I've been in a lot of stuff, but what stands out more so than anything is a struggle with the attraction, same-sex attraction, where someone would look at a woman and feel like, I'm attracted to her booty, her lips, this, that, and the third. I have the opposite. My attraction has been towards men.
Okay, let me ask you this: were you born with this, or did something happen to you? And I know that's probably stuff that people don't ask you. But were you just born into this, or was it something a choice you decided to make, or did something happen to you throughout your lifespan?
And that's a combination of both, too. Being raised by all women and having no male figures in my life, Um, there was always a spirit of infemininity. Um, Not having a father. Um, I really believe that had a lot to do with, some of the outcome. Was I born gay? Um, I believe I was created in God's image. I believe that if there was some nurturing factors there to uphold the manhood in me, it would have came out a lot better.
Okay, got you. Understand what you're saying. Because I think like today that the church will believe that you cannot be born gay. And with them not standing in your shoes and not experiencing what you've experienced since you've been a little kid, and then we come up with scriptures and all of that, then I think, sometimes we choose to believe what we want to believe. Now, going through your process of entering to the church world, we're trying to shake off what you felt, because I don't want to expose too much, because I know too much. I know too much. I know as far as even down to leadership. When leadership should have been helping you, they were taking advantage of you. Or when leadership should have been upholding you, they dropped. Am I talking wrong or talking
Yes.
right? Okay, all right. So that's why we were talking about as far as a while ago. If you have a struggle within, you deal with that struggle that you have on the inside, because there's some innocent people who really have inward struggles with their own, who they are. And if you're standing up in the pulpit or laying hands, spirits transfer. So if you don't know whether you want to be interested in women or interested in men, just sit down for a little bit until you get yourself delivered and you get yourself together. Because it's other people who have an inward struggle. Now, with you saying all that, where are some of the places, because you've been born and raised in God, in church, you know worship, you know how worship goes, and you are a worshiper. It's like a little box that's on the inside of you. And a lot of times I've seen you use the singing and the worshiping to pull you out of a lot of things. Where has this inward struggle taken you throughout life? And like I said, I know you've been through a lot. Just give us a little bit that the people don't get to see.
This inward struggle has, it's been a lot of hurt. And a lot of things derive out of hurt. I've always been seeking for love, especially from my father. May he rest in peace. My father didn't gain a relationship with me until I was 25.
Wow.
And it was on his deathbed that he ever told me, "I love you."
Wow.
And I had waited all my life to hear that. And I actually had 2 years clean from drugs and alcohol when he told me that. And I went right back and relapsed and began to do drugs again because I couldn't identify with the words "I love you" from my father. And that was a hard pill to swallow for myself, because I waited so long to hear it, and then when I heard it, he had probably like a year left to be with me. But in that year or two, he did make amends, and we were made whole. Thank God for that. But I believe if I had him earlier on in my life, things would have been different.
Things would have been different. Okay, now listening to what you said about the drugs and the alcohol, one quick question. What do you think turned you that way to run to, you know how they say, everybody has, you said you're looking for love, everybody has something that they run to that comforts them. What pushed you to that edge? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember vividly. 1998, living in Wilmington, Delaware. My grandmother had passed away. I ended up homeless.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Nowhere to go. Went to live with my stepfather, and his house was a crack house. And when I got there, I had a degree from Woodstock Job Corps. Thought things were going to be okay, but the depression is real, y'all. The depression from me not being able to gain my footing, or not knowing my identity and trying to struggle to get money, to get a good job, and everything just, every door just closing, 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 closing. You know, drugs was offered once, it was offered twice. First time, second time, I made out okay. Went through Thanksgiving. Holidays are a hard time for me.
When you had a loss?
When I lost my grandmother. That's my first year without my grandmother. So I got through Thanksgiving okay, but Christmas it was offered again, and I totally broke when I consumed crack cocaine for the first time, and I was 21. And I'll never forget it. My head dropped, bells rung, and that was a high that I had never experienced. And it was a stronghold, and I could tell it was a stronghold because I couldn't lift my head up. I was in that position, like down like this, for probably a good 15 minutes.
Wow.
Unable to just move or anything. And from then on, it progressed.
Okay, now, when you were in that position, did it seem as if it blocked off all of that negative stuff, all of the negative feelings and negative thinking and all of that?
It took me to another place. It took me outside of what I was going through or how I was feeling. It took me, and I had to learn how to get high.
Okay, because you didn't know. Yeah, you're
didn't
raised
know
in
how,
church
I didn't know how to do those things.
and covered by your grandma 24/7. Like
I knew prayer, fasting, Bible study, singing. I didn't know how to get on or to get a straight shooter or to get chewy or to purchase crack or any of that.
So because you had all of these emotions and all of this stuff that was going on, being vulnerable, being oppressed, being depressed, and the pull from the world was, I can understand. Instead of stopping and just dealing with all this stuff that was going on the inside. Yes. Because what you're saying is you didn't have anybody.
No. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Our family were doing them, and I had to do me.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. I went to job corps in Baltimore. I had probably like image kills. That's something they told us in the program. But I had like maybe 3 fur coats, all this gold and shoes and clothes and as soon as I took that first drug, I sold all
everything.
Of that stuff. I sold all of it. Almost instantaneously.
To chase after that first high.
Yep.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this, off of the topic of the drugs, because I remember years ago when I first found out that you were in the lifestyle. What made you want to be a woman, want to dress as a woman?
Yeah.
I know, right?
and a lot of people know Leron, Waples. Some people know Peaches.
Miss Peaches.
Yes. And,
that devil.
I've always been attractive, always been gorgeous, and I don't want to, poop it up, but I was the best at whatever I did. So if it was Peaches, I was the best at being Peaches. It was Leron, I was the best at tried to be the best at being that. With being a singer, I was trying to be the best at being that. And I emulated certain people and having, going to the gay clubs that opened up a whole nother arena, a whole nother door that I hadn't been through either.
Because that now became your family.
Yep.
Once your grandmother died.
Yep. It became my family, became an outlet where I could go, and I saw someone who I was able to identify with someone who was like me. I didn't feel so cast out. I didn't feel so alienated.
Okay. So, as far as dressing as Miss Peaches, like I said, what was the pull? What directed your path to dress up as a woman?
I really think that was again going back to an identity crisis.
Okay.
Not knowing who I was.
Okay.
Because my voice has always been high pitched. I've always had a feminine way.
I got you. I understand now with you. So it's like I know that I'm a man, but all of these other traits, maybe if then you went after. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the church was concerned, how did the church treat you? How did the church people? How did they make you feel?
people couldn't look at me. People couldn't talk to me.
But they have the Spirit of God and they have the anointing that can destroy the yoke. What do you mean?
They, no. I felt like a castaway all over again. It's like
Wow.
reopening the wound again, because if I were to go to the church for help, I got looked at funny. People couldn't look at me eye to eye. People didn't want to embrace me, or pray for me, or it was just especially that eye to eye contact. I just believe in, like, if you're a man, you should be able to look at me eye to eye, especially men of God. For some reason or another, that's because a woman can only impart what she can, but for a boy, a man, there needs to be some masculinity there somewhere.
Maybe something's going on the inside of them.
Possibly.
I just threw that out there.
Possibly. But when someone comes and they're hurting, the first thing that should be given to them is the love of Christ.
It's the love of God, regardless of what they look like, what life experiences, changes that they've been through.
Yes.
We should have enough
I think
anointing,
that would have
enough
made
power on us.
a big difference. I believe I would have been delivered a lot quicker than now. If I was like embraced and not so pushed away or shunned.
Okay, now with knowing all that and with all of that happened, because I know you've experienced a whole lot more than just what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into, and I remember Keith Brayton, and Pastor Keith Brayton actually walks you through certain processes. You know, Leron, don't do this, you can't do that, don't walk that way, you know.
Yeah.
And to some people they may seem hard, but deliverance for some people it's a process, and as well as there's some things we have to do. We can't expect for God to just change us. Just like now, He can. But for some of us, we have to, like you would have to relearn everything all over again.
Right.
You know, don't switch, walk straight. You know, and all of that.
Bright suits.
Yeah.
Bright colored suits. I mean, because the spirit of homosexuality is drawn to a certain look, a certain image, characteristic. I had to tone down
You keep on talking.
how I looked. I had to tone down how I looked. I couldn't wear canary yellow suits or red suits. You know, these were things that were told to me. Now, for me to follow them was up to me, of course.
It's not distraction. It's
Especially when you're already cancer.
and to other men who are going through the same thing.
Exactly.
It's appealing to them. It's like a pull from, and that's understand. Now, I remember when we
Now, this is not for everyone.
right.
I'm talking about my story.
Right. Now, I remember when we used to go to musicals and we would go to revivals and different people would stand up and preach or prophesy, and he pulled on me and he said, "Shell, my gate, what was it?
Leron.
It is working." And I would look at you like, "What do you mean? That's the man of God." He's like, something ain't right with him. Does that still work?
Yes. Yep.
So it's like if they may not be active in it, residue is on them or something like that. You can always pick it up.
Yeah. You can pick it up. Especially when I surround myself with beautiful women, you know.
I'm one of them.
Yes, she is. And anytime you're more focused on me instead of her, then I think you want me.
Oh, God, I wasn't expecting it.
And yeah, I mean that's just what it is.
Okay.
And we went through that in the store, like when I came
Yes.
home
Yeah, tell them
for
about
the
that.
cancer thing. Like that was this nice looking man, and Michelle is gorgeous. She's beautiful, and we're walking together, and his eyes were like glued on me.
He
like
turned all the way around. I was like, oh, I don't think that look is for me. He's not looking at me.
And so that was an indication.
But it was funny because to look at him, he looked muscular like a strong man, but that spirit didn't want me. That spirit wanted Leron.
Mm-hmm.
And Leron automatically picked it up, and his response was, "Get me out of here. Shell, get me out of here."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And in saying that takes us back to certain spirits don't have a certain look. So if you think you're gonna find out something by a look,
Oh,
no, you can't.
No.
You won't be able to tell just from a look how something looks, the appearance of.
That's why you actually have some men who are in a husband-wife relationship and they're on the down low.
Exactly.
And you would never know it had you walked through that and you're familiar with that spirit, or rather you allow your discernment to really sharpen in
Yeah.
because of that spirit. What else do I want to ask you? As far as preaching and prophesying who you are, because God is taking you through a process of deliverance, but who you are, that worshiper, that prophet. Is there a struggle sometimes within to try to live this out versus to the pull that's pulling you the opposite way, or the pull of from what you're familiar with? And does that become overwhelming at times? That was a good question, Chef.
Yeah. And very good question. This time around, I have no struggle. I have no desire. And this is as recent as the 23rd. God knows I didn't know that change was going to take place in my life when I came
You didn't
home.
come down here for that.
So I just came to support my spiritual mother and to see my choir members again. But this time around is totally different from other times that I attempted to get myself together. This time, as soon as we left, and I'm so grateful to God because as soon as we left the church, like I had just bought a pack of cigarettes.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember.
I threw those cigarettes out the car window. I haven't had a desire for a cigarette. I haven't had desire for any weed. I haven't had, of course, in my premonition, in my dreams, it's like it's been buds and buds and buds of weed. Have I acted upon it? No.
I remember I called you and said no.
It's always a choice. Let's not forget that it's always a choice. I can choose to either go back or I choose to go forward, and I choose to go forward. I don't choose to go backwards. I have too much to live for.
But you know what, Leron? A lot of times people don't realize that we are actually stronger than what we think. And when we make up in our mind, I'm going to fight this one head on. I may fall, I may flip, but I'm going to get back up. And I think that's what I see on the inside of you this time, like that determination. Not just to do right, but that determination to live right. Why? Because other people's lives and souls is dependent.
Connected.
Right.
Connected to me. Erica, married.
Erica's on it. Hi, Erica. Love you.
That's my sister. I love her. We used to sing "Congratulations, Vesta" in the school hallway. You know, some of these people have always been still praying for me in the midst of my stuff. You know what I mean? In the midst of everything that I've been going through, I've been covered my whole life by people just. And Erica Merrick was love. Anna Smack was love. Michelle Applewhite, Pastor Brenda Smack. Like, there are some people that were still loving me unconditionally. My Aunt Priscilla Thomas has loved me unconditionally. Unconditionally. And I really do believe that is what has brought me to the place of healing and restoration. It's people who didn't give up on me, even when I gave up on myself.
I want to say this real quick. I remember when I came in encountered with that same spirit and being vulnerable and being mad with the church and hating the church and all this stuff that was going on with me, and I made a conscious decision. Well, I didn't make a conscious decision. You know, she was a prophetess, and she came running to my rescue when I was vulnerable, needing a friend. One thing led to the other, and all of that. And so I ended up encountering with that spirit. And because of the fact I'd never encountered with that, I didn't know what was going on. I was so confused or whatever. When I flipped on that prophetess, I flipped, and I'm like, I'm gonna expose them and tell them all. I just went crazy. And she kept saying no. Instead of running to a preacher instead of running to a prophet, instead of running to these people who I knew had Jesus, I ran to Philadelphia to Leron, to someone in our eyes, in our natural eyes, you would be like, he can't help you. He got no Jesus. And I told him what was going on. And when I came to Philadelphia, I went, I think, for a week, 2 weeks. When I came, the atmosphere, he had the atmosphere just set up that when I walked in, I wasn't aware that he was on drugs. I wasn't aware that he was living a lifestyle. I just knew I needed help, and I didn't know where to turn, and I didn't know what was going on with myself. But when I went to his house, the atmosphere was nothing but church music. For a whole week, I could not say a word. I was so broken, and I was so upset with myself because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know whether I was gay. Am I gay? I know I don't like women, but what's going on? And this was a prophet, that person that was supposed to be leading me, and this was the person that was helping making me fall. So I came running and say, listen, throughout that whole week, I didn't say a word. He opened up the Bible, he opened up Psalms, and he read Psalms, and it kept speaking in my spirit. He kept speaking life. He left me in the house. He left me in the house with videotapes and TD Jakes and all this kind of stuff that he set up. But yeah, he wasn't living right. He wasn't doing right.
Yep.
But he pulled God from
True
on
story.
Yeah, it is a true story. You remember? He pulled God from the inside. And I remember a Thursday night because he was steady praying and steady going in the spirit and steady warring and all this stuff. For me, somebody that people were looking at like I had it all together, but I didn't.
Well, I love you.
I was at a low place. So what happened was he prayed over me. All of a sudden in the shower, I broke. I fell to the ground and I cried like a baby. Leron came jumping in that shower and pulled me out and started speaking in tongues. And all of a sudden I broke. And when I got myself, I think we went to your job. And we went to his job, and I think it was people there who had addictions and all of that, and they were standing up and they were admitting where they were, and they were admitting that they were going through being transparent. Something I never knew nothing about,
It's what we call an NA meeting.
And I listened to them people, and by the time I finished in that meeting, I was just like, I'm up there struggling with this little thing, and these people, their lives is far more worse than mine. And I heard God say, go back home and just be open and be transparent and let people know what's going on. And I went running to my mother and I told my mom what happened, told my mother where I ran, told my mother what I'd done, because I believe that if I exposed something concerning me, I'd be a fool to go back and do that same thing I just told somebody I wasn't doing. And I had to walk through the deliverance process. I said all that to say that God still used Leron in the middle of his mess.
Something Michelle just said that's so important is your ability to vent, to talk, to
you
get
can't
it
really
up,
do that in church.
to get it up and out of you. Doesn't matter whether you do it in the church or you do it to somebody on the street or in an NA meeting or in a support group, but you have to get that dirtiness, that filthiness, that whatever is weighing you have to get it up and out, because as long as it's inside, you'll stay captive, you'll stay underneath a stronghold, you'll stay burdened down, and nobody will know how to help you if you don't expose it or let someone know what's going on with you.
Because not everybody see it, and not everybody discerns.
And you can't really tell everyone. You know what I'm saying? You have to be mindful of who you share your stuff with.
That's why I said a while ago when I was telling it, something was like, oh, you don't need to talk. But then I'm like, wait a minute, this was like, what was it? God, 05?
Yeah, about that.
It was in 05. I had never, no, don't get it twisted. I ain't gay. Never been with a woman since. But I think I had to experience that so I would be able to tell people that, listen, this spirit is real. I don't care how deep and how spiritual you think you are. If you have one open door, that devil will bust that door in and come at you. So don't think that you're off limits concerning this spirit. That's why it pays to make sure that you don't judge people.
Yes.
Because when you start judging people and start thinking you better than them, start holding your nose up against them, that same spirit will come running after you. I don't care. Preacher, that's why we got so many preachers now that's in the pulpit, preaching, prophesying, and half of them got that spirit strong on them. Women, men, and if you don't use discernment or you're not familiar with that spirit, you don't know what spirits are being transferred to you.
Yeah.
You really don't know. So at this point where you are right now, walking through deliverance, because like I said, deliverance for some people is a process. And the enemy will try to make sure that there are doors, doors that are blocking your way. You said a while ago, this one is totally different.
Yes.
What is the feeling that you have on the inside? I mean, because I know it's an up and down battle. I don't care. It is.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it that you feel right now that is giving you the zeal, that is giving you the determination, that is giving you the focus and motivating you to keep going forward?
I want to fulfill my destiny. I want to be who God called me to be. I want to be able to take care of my sisters. I want to be able to live long enough to to take care of my sisters. Sarah and Destiny, you know, I was the only child for 27 years, spoiled, right?
Still spoiled.
And you know, still spoiled, but, you know, I just want to live the best life possible for me that God intended for me to live. That's it.
If you had an opportunity to verbally express out of your heart to some of those people that you wounded along, I'm going to give you two chances. I'm going to give you this platform twice. But for this first one, if you had an opportunity to be able to verbally express how apologetic you are for making a wrong decision and those people that were following you, what would you say to those people?
I would say, first of all, you know, I can't really apologize for my process, but what I can say is that it wasn't for me that I had to endure these things. It was for the ministry that's inside of me,
you. Good.
that I can help someone else get through some of the same things that I've experienced.
Right. Okay, now take this platform, take it by force, take it with all of the Jesus that's on the inside of you, and address those leaders, those preachers, those prophets, those, even the people that's in the congregation, but mainly those people who are in leadership, who are preaching and prophesying, but yet living that undercover or hidden lifestyle that you've walked through. Address those people the way that you feel led.
Just be mindful and take a self-inventory of what you would want, you know, do unto others that you would have them do unto you. And no one wants to be violated. No one wants their truth to become a lie. And don't manipulate the word.
Wow.
Don't manipulate the word. The Bible says don't add anything to or take anything from the Bible. It's going to do what it was set out to do. And you know, everybody, like I said, everybody has their process, whatever their process could be. I'm not knocking anyone's process, but do a self-inventory and just really ask yourself, is this worth it? Because at the end of the day, you're not just accountable for yourself, you're accountable for me.
So with that said, as you said a while ago, just do self-inventory. If you know that there's an area of deliverance or a stronghold or a demonic force that's in activity in your life, take a minute, sit down, just for a second. You still can help people out and all of that, but as far as laying hands on people and transferring that spirit, I say it all the time, there are innocent people who are sitting in the congregation who want to for real be delivered, and for real want to be saved and want to walk through the process of deliverance. So be mindful. That's my sister. Be mindful. Be mindful that you will reap what you sow, and you're going to be held accountable for every soul that you damage. And people don't want to talk about it, but we're doing a lot of damage in the house of God. You know, I've got some things, I'm not perfect, I got some things that I'm dealing with, but those things that I'm dealing with, I'm not going to point the finger at everybody else, because I know I'm walking through deliverance myself. There's a lot of stuff, like, it's a lot of stuff that God is working on me with, you know. Yes. So just work on you, and if you work on if you work on you, it's so much that you have within yourself that you can change and you can be delivered from. You don't have time to try to focus on somebody else because you're a piece of work. So I just hope and pray that this segment, this heartfelt segment, has. She said, "I'm not alone."
And one more thing from me, and then I'm going to be quiet. Well, as far as this talking thing is concerned, do not give up on you.
Don't give up on you. That's good.
Do not give up on you. Don't do it. Don't throw in the towel.
don't throw in the towel and don't commit suicide. It's just not worth it. God is able to heal. God is able to deliver. God is able to set free. He may not do it today when you want him to do it, but trust the process that God puts you on. Let me tell you
Good
another
word.
thing. It's a good word.
Trust the process.
I always say, we're going through this cancer thing, the devil cannot kill what God has anointed to live. He just can't do it. And every morning I wake up, I don't know what I'm going to feel, whether I'm in pain or whatever. This process is overwhelming, and a lot of times I be wanting to give up. But like you were saying a while ago, I think of the bigger picture. There are other people who are walking through the same thing and who need our strength, who need our help. People need your strength. They need to hear your story. They need to hear your testimony. Don't be ashamed of your testimony. Because if you have walked through it and you survived and you got victory, then God's hand was in it. Yeah, we may make some wrong decisions, but the scripture says all things work together. All things. I know, right? All things. I don't care how long you've been crying. I don't care how long you've been struggling. I don't care how long you've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Listen, somebody is watching your process. They are. And if you can get up every day and you can just use one scripture that no weapon formed against me shall speak it in the atmosphere, and it connects to God and your faith. Honey, listen, let me tell you, listen, I'm a living witness.
Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in your mother's womb,
I knew
you. I knew you.
And God's thoughts and his plans for you and for your life are far more greater than what you think. Look at Job. Look at all that Job had to experience. Look at all that Job had to go through. Look at all that Job walked through. It's like they told him that your kids died, and before he could even turn around, they came again and said your other kids died. It was one thing after another, one thing. But at the end of it all, Job reaped every godly benefits. So we just tell you to stay focused. And what you're going through is not in vain if you can just hold on. And like you said, you grab somebody that you believe in, you grab somebody that you have faith in, you grab somebody that you know that can help push you forward. Yeah. And if that person's not pushing you forward, you delete them, you push them, you grab help. Because it is help out there. Not everybody in the church, and I know I talk about the church a lot, but not everybody in the church is phony. Not everybody in the church is off. There are some true prophets. There are some true women and men of God. There are some people out there who have sound word and sound doctrine, and it can help you through your process. The thing is, us as believers need to believe in ourselves and need to know that we have people's word and we are strength to other people. You understand what I'm saying? And I think if you don't know who you are in the spirit, then how you going to help somebody else? So you got to know and realize that you are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. You are designer's original. You really are. You may getting tickled. I know. Yeah. Listen, you may not come across the finish line as quick as somebody else. You may be a little bit slow. But honey, the Bible says the race is not given to the swift,
nor to the strong, but
to the one that endure, the person that holds on. So hold on and stay focused. Even if you're holding on by broken wood, you hold on. Don't you give up. Is there anything else you want to address to them?
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I love everyone. And that's what's going to do it. Love is going to do it. Covers a multitude of sins.
All right, so again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're keeping it 100 with Michelle A. And if you get a chance and opportunity, please share these videos. We do have a whole page it's entitled Keeping It 100 with Michelle A. Go through those. I'm telling you, some of them videos and some of them interviews are very encouraging. Please share them. Again, thank you guys.
Goodbye.
You have no idea how many people did we have? I don't know how many people we have watching, but That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Post.
That was 90. What did I say? That's a 99 people.
226 views. I know, and it only shows us like 25. It's 226 views.
Hey man, such a big blessing.
But you know what? Because everybody tells me like Pastor Pastor Bailey.
That was how I was getting my spiritual food by looking at your videos.
Are you serious?
Yes.
But you know what? I was going to say a lot of the pastors said. I forgot Periscope was on.